In this video, I'm going to be ranking the best buyout cards right now in NBA 2K25 Myteam on a tier list here, ranking from S, that does go all the way down to D tier, and we have about 40 to 45-ish of the best buy now cards in the game. And if you guys are a little bit confused what I do mean by a buy now or a buy out card, it's going to be any card that is under 100,000 MT right now in the auction house. That is what is considered a buyout or a buy now card, compared to cards that you have to bid on that go for like 200, 300, 500, a million MT, or whatever price they do go for above 100k. So these are going to be about 40 to 45 of the best cards for under 100,000 MT, and I feel like we're starting off with one of the better ones. We got Pink Diamond Dr. J. He is seriously still one of the best shooting guards in my team, even at the Pink Diamond tier, and he has dropped quite a bit in price. He's only about like 70,000 MT, which is an amazing deal for this card. 6'7" net shooting guard, 6'11" wingspan, has a 92 steal, 94 perimeter, so he can hold his own on the defensive end. But the best thing about Dr. J is his offense. He's an electric scorer. He can slash to the basket, 98 driving dunk, has a great jump shot. Even though it's on normal timing, I still feel like it's one of the better jump shots in this game. Super easy to green, very consistent card, and I think Pink Diamond Dr. J is still one of the best buy now cards in my team. LaMelo Ball is interesting. He's a 6'7" point guard, so I almost want to put him in A tier, but like I realistically think he might be B. I think LaMelo doesn't have the greatest of dribble sigs. I know he's a 6'7" point guard, 6'10" wingspan. He does have a good jump shot, right? Even though it's on normal timing, it's still a pretty good release. It could definitely be better, but it's solid. The defensive stats aren't great either, like 75 blocks, 75 interior defense. His dribble sigs, like I mentioned, are just not the greatest in my personal opinion. So realistically, I know it might sound crazy, but I think LaMelo is still a great card. I still think he's a good point guard for sure, but I do think he's going to be in that B tier category. Tyler Hansbrough, I mean, he might be S tier, man. Tyler Hansbrough is such a good small forward, but there's just so many good small forwards in this game that I don't know if this card is A or S, because he's a 6'9" small forward, 6'11" wingspan. He's a very well-rounded defender, 93 block, 92 steal, 90 perimeter, 96 interior defense. Who's going to be a great defensive card, has amazing Hall of Fame defensive badges like brick wall, immovable, interceptor, paint patroller, even has Hall of Fame rebound chaser, which is nice. But the thing about this card is he's got an excellent jump shot. It is very quick, easy to time, and I think it's one of the better jump shots in this game. So Tyler Hansbrough, I would say for a price of around 100,000 MT, maybe he's gone down in price, maybe like 90,000, or maybe he's gone down even more in price, but he's definitely under that 100,000 MT price, and I do think he's going to be in the S tier category. Now, Jonathan Bender, I mean, is this card also S tier? He's a 7-foot small forward with such a quick jump shot, but he only goes for like 35k, so he's definitely a lot cheaper than most buy now cards on this list. He's a 7-foot small forward, 7'4" wingspan, and like I mentioned, has that very quick jump shot, one of the fastest releases in this game. So I think you could make the argument he's also S tier as well. I think you can make the argument that Kristaps Porzingis is also in the S tier category. Like, I think we got kind of a bad luck, well, maybe not bad luck, but we kind of got the draw where we got a lot of, you know, the top tier buy now cards at the start of this tier list. But I think Kristaps is amazing, right? 7'2" at center, 7'6" wingspan, still has a very good jump shot at that tall of a center, 93 3 ball, Hall of Fame deadeye, limitless range is crazy to have on a Pink Diamond Kristaps. Hall of Fame set shot specialist is really nice, and like I said, he does still have a very solid jump shot. I think he's an easy buy now card in the S tier category. Tyson Chandler, I would say, is probably A. I do think he's maybe that step below. I think he's great for a diamond card. He only goes for 5,000 MT, but I wanted to include this card because even though he's 5,000 MT, he's still one of the best buy now centers, best buy now bigs in this game. Even though he's at a cheap price, he's a really good defender, one of the best bigs in this entire game. Carlos Boozer, I feel like also has to be an S tier. I think him and Tyler Hansbrough are kind of on that same level, kind of on that same tier. Both are really good at the small forward position. Boozer 6'9" at small forward, 7'2" wingspan. I think Boozer player model also allows him to be slightly better of a defensive card than Hansbrough, and then it really just comes down to whose jump shot you do prefer. I prefer Boozer's jump shot, but I know a lot of people do like Tyler Hansbrough's as well. So both these cards, I mean, for under 100,000 MT, are very good at the small forward position, and I do think are both going to be in that S tier category. Now, Rudy Gay, also S tier. I promise you guys there's not going to be this many cards in S by the end of the tier list, but Rudy Gay recently just became a buy now, and I think it's for the first time in this entire game cycle. I've never seen this card for a buy now price. I'll go check again on my Xbox right here, but I swear he's a buy now price. I just saw it like 20 minutes ago that you could have bought this card for 99,000 MT. And I'm looking on Xbox, he's 98,700 right there, one for 100,000. So two are up for a buy now price as of right now on Xbox. So this card is considered a buy now price, and he is one of the better small forwards in this game. Is he as good as a Tyler Hansbrough? Is he as good as a Carlos Boozer or Jonathan Bender? He's on that level. I do seriously think he's on that level. That jump shot is amazing with his own release. It's one of the best jump shots in this game. He's got the Kyrie Irving dribble style, which is great. He's got good dribble sigs. He's a great slasher. He's a good enough defender. I think Rudy Gay is still an S tier buy now card. RJ Barrett, this is where we kind of drop in the list quite a bit. I think he's C tier. He's not a bad shooting guard by any means, but he's a little bit overpriced. He's like 50 to 70K. Not that great of a shooting guard, so I do think he's going to be in C tier. Pink Diamond Hakeem, I would say is A. Maybe you could argue S tier, but I do like that Pink Diamond Kristaps just a tad bit more. But Hakeem is really good for a buy now price. He's only like 30,000 MT. Really good defensive big man. Very similar in my opinion to this Diamond Tyson Chandler. I think AK-47 is probably also A. I think Jared Wallace is probably also A. And AK-47 and Jared Wallace are very similar cards. I think Wallace is a little bit better, but if we do compare both of these cards, because they were next to each other on the tier list, they are both great defensive cards. If you take a look at their defensive stats, right, 97 interior defense, 94 interior defense, both have 97 perimeter. Jared Wallace has a 98 block, AK has a 97 block, or sorry, that's 97 steal, 98 steal, and then a 97 block for AK and a 94 block for Jared Wallace. The thing is, I think Jared Wallace does have the better jump shot. AK's release is a little bit inconsistent, but I do think Jared Wallace's release is very, very good on quick timing. So for me personally, I think Jared Wallace is a little bit better than AK, but I think both these cards are elite level defenders, some of the best locks in this game that you guys can find for under 100,000 MT, that I do think they both deserve to be in the A tier category. Kobe White, I would say B tier, on that same level as a LaMelo Ball. I think David West is probably C tier. By no means is he a bad small forward card, but he doesn't really do anything too spectacular. Like 6'9" in small forward is great, 7'4" wingspan is great. His defensive stats could be a lot better. His jump shot is solid. His dribble sigs are solid. I think he's kind of just that C tier buy now card. OG Anunoby though, I think is B tier. I think he's a little bit underrated. Now that he's come down in price, I thought he was overpriced because he was like 90 to 100K, but now that he's come down in price, he's only I think about like 60,000, maybe even cheaper. Yeah, he's like 50,000 MT. So he's a really good defensive card, 6'7" at the 2, 7'2" wingspan, amazing defender on the perimeter. He can slash to the basket. I do like his jump shot as well on very quick timing. I think OG is a fair enough, B tier buy now card. Now Michael Beasley, obvious S tier, probably the best buy now card in this game, and it depends when you check the auction house. Sometimes he's not a buy now, sometimes he is a buy now, but you can easily find this card for 100,000 MT even if you have to go put a bid on this card. So I do think it's fair enough to have him on this list because he is just insane offensively, one of the best scorers in this entire game, one of the best jump shots in this entire game, some of the best dribble sigs, a 6'9" small forward, easily going to be in the S tier category. Ricky Davis, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Ricky Davis is probably also S tier. Like, I think he's on that same level as a Pink Diamond Dr. J. He's got one of the better jump shots with that Seth Curry base, Oscar upper, on very quick. He's got the Garland dribble style. He's a very good defender, very good slasher. I think Ricky Davis is going to be an S tier buy now card. Shane Battier, probably B tier. Kind of on that same level as like an OG Anunoby. Good defensive cards, can knock down a 3, but realistically, they're just solid. They're not like anything too spectacular. I think Bradley Beal's probably going to be in D tier, one of the worst buy now cards on this tier list. I just don't think this card is worth his price tag at all. Drazen Petrovic, I think, is also B tier. Maybe you could argue A. He's just a little bit undersized at shooting guard, only 6'5". He kind of looks like sort of small for his position out there on the court at the shooting guard position, but does have a 99 3 ball and a very good jump shot. Bol to me is probably C tier. I know he's 7'3" at power forward. I know he can be glitchy, but I think there's a lot better power forward options in this game, especially for their price tag. Alex Sarr, that's sort of like my B tier Pink Diamond at the power forward position. I think he's kind of that in between Bol and that in between Hakeem Olajuwon, sort of in the middle there where he's good, but he's not as good as Hakeem. But I do think he's a little bit better than Pink Diamond Bol. Does have a good jump shot and also can block, and he also does block tons of shots at the power forward position. I think Jalen Rose is probably also B tier. 6'8" at the 2, he's a solid all-around card, gonna be in that B tier category. Detlef Schrempf is probably also B tier. He is definitely a taller taller small forward in the game. 6'10" at small forward, 7 foot wingspan, good stats across the board. Devin Booker dribble style. Like, he's definitely a solid small forward card for a buy now price. He's like right at 100,000 MT. I don't know if he's necessarily worth his price tag, but I do think he's definitely a B tier buy now card. Zach Edey also I would say is B tier. Maybe you could argue A, but I think he's on that same level as Alex Sarr. He's a 7'5" he's a 7'5" center card, 7'10" wingspan, but he's just a little bit on the slower side, only having 60 speed, 57 agility, kind of holding him back, keeping him in the B tier category. Stephon Castle, I know it might sound crazy. I think he's still an A tier buy now card. He is so good for 20k, great defensively. I like him more than LaMelo. I like him more than Kobe White, and I think he's one of the best buy now point guards in this entire game. Hedo Turkoglu is B tier. I think he's a solid small forward. He's 6'10", so it does have a great height. He kind of compares to, I'd say, Deadlift Shrimp at the small forward position. Vlade Divac is A, but he realistically could be S. Vlade Divac is really good. I might put him in the S tier category, and I think I will put him in the S tier category. He is so good at the center or power forward position. Steve Francis is going to be down there, I think, alongside Bradley Beal. Just realistically, not great cards. Whoa, what a voice crack. Not great cards, you know, for that buy now price tag. I think Scalabrine is probably C tier. He's a good budget option, but realistically nothing insane. Gilbert Arenas, I would say, is probably B tier. He's a very good offensive point guard. He's got a great jump shot, good dribble sigs, but I definitely think Stephon Castle is better at the point guard position. Vucevic, I would say, is A. I do like him more than like an Alex Sarr at power forward, you know, maybe a Hedo Turkoglu at power forward, you know, those type of big man cards. I do think he's very solid for the buy now price. Kyle Korver, I think, is also A tier. A very good offensive shooting guard, has a great jump shot, and in my opinion, he's just a upgraded version of Drazen Petrovic, being taller and being a better defender. Kel'el Ware, I think he has to be S. I mean, he's one of the best cards in this entire game. He's only 40 to 45k. Really good defensive card. I love his jump shot. Definitely one of the best buy now cards in my team. I think Tony Allen is probably C tier. He's undersized at shooting guard, only 6'4", but he is a very good defensive card. I think Caruso is S, just because he's the best buy now point guard in this entire game. He goes for like 100,000 MT, so he's kind of right on that cusp of being a buy now, but he is so good defensively. Definitely one of the better point guards in this entire game. Rudy Gobert, I think, is probably A. I do like Vlade Divac, Kristaps a little bit more at center. Kel'el Ware, I think, is a better power forward. You know, those type of cards I think are slightly better than Rudy Gobert, but he's definitely one of the better cards in A tier. He's a really good defender, one of the best defensive cards in this entire game. Just does have a low 3-ball and not the best jump shot in my personal opinion. Jamal Crawford going to be in C tier. He is a step above, in my opinion, from Steve Francis and Bradley Beal, but realistically not going to be anything too spectacular. Matt Barnes, again, a budget card, just like Tyson Chandler. They're definitely cheap on this list, but they are very, very good. Matt Barnes has an elite level jump shot and is a very good defender. Chris Mullin, I think, is probably also C tier. I think there's definitely some better shooting guards in that B tier category. Pink Diamond DeAndre Jordan, I would say, is B tier. He's kind of on that same level as like a Zach Edey or an Alex Sarr. Very good defensively, just does have a low 3-ball rating. Eddie Jones, I think, is B tier. He's definitely a solid shooting guard all the way around. And then Frank Kaminsky, I would say, is probably also in that B tier category. And yeah, guys, that's going to round out my buyout card tier list. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys do think about it. Let me know what you guys would change. And let me know what are your guys' favorite cards that are at a buy now price of 100,000 MT or below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.